This time I'll call the March 11, 2021 meeting to order for the Dickinson County Commission. Would you please stand and join in the flag salute? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, there's no additions to the agenda, so I would move that we approve the agenda as printed.
I'll second it.
We have the motion and the second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The consent agenda includes the minutes of the March 4th meeting. It also includes fund expenditures of $725,406.87. Also wire payment for contract services of $2,500.
I move to accept the consent agenda.
Second it. We have the motion and the second for acceptance of the consent agenda. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Commission comments. Ron?
Just worked on little Senate Bill 104 a little bit this last week for the detention center to try to get a deal passed through to support judges. Other than that, I don't have anything else.
Okay. Great.
Yeah, I've talked about it last week, Noble Township, the issue on Chapman Creek between Red Road and Rain Road. Did have conversations with Martin this morning in the department head meeting. They're going to make recommendations to Noble Township, meeting with them. That's all I have, Lynn.
Okay, thank you. This evening, there's an economic development meeting that I will attend, and Chuck Scott will be the one that's leading that meeting along with the other board members. Also, earlier this morning, we did have a department head and elected official meeting. And so the elected officials and department heads gave us updates on what is going on in their particular part. And of course, much of it had to do with the relocations that have taken place and setting up. And, really, it's been a very smooth transition. And then, of course, we did receive the update on some of the work being done as far as the renovation of the courthouse and the new addition to the east. And that's all I have. Is there anything else that comes to mind before we move on? We do not have any petitions. We do not have any proclamations. This would be a portion now for public comment if there is any. And if you do want to make a comment, we would limit it to 5 minutes, and we want it topic oriented. And so if you have any comments, you might go ahead and let us know on that. We do have several that are, I know that are participating as far as watching, and so then we do have the coverage of the newspaper here.
I think we got Sherry Hooper first.
Okay, yes, Sherry? Sherry Hooper, we'll hear from you, please. And I don't know if you're muted by chance or if it's on our end. Sherry, go ahead. And if we can't hear you, we'll just go on to the next person. We can always come back to you. But Sherry? Okay, we're going to go on to Megan Armstrong.
Good morning. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Lori Megan Armstrong, 1173 Old 40. I was curious to know when the Dickinson County Health Department will be resetting the cumulative count that they've been publishing since last year, because the data kind of is becoming almost useless. Do you guys plan on resetting that? And if so, when? And then the other aspect I'd like to ask about is we recognize that we're down to less than a case per day over the last, not just last week, the last 3 weeks. And so Lynn, earlier you did mention that maybe looking at that health order might be in order, and I appreciate you recognizing that. I hope that Mr. Roller and Mr. Chamberlain can get behind that too, because I just don't know how long or how much lower we could possibly go with this COVID mitigation process. Again, it was mitigating, not having it become extinct. So I really, I'm not trying to be repetitive, but I was hoping that maybe since you've had a week since last meeting, that maybe you had some more insight into that. Thank you, sirs.
Thank you. That is something we continue to look at, and I don't think the expectation is that we try to, I mean, a lower number is even better, obviously, but I think it's just more that we level off and maintain this level. But I think we'll probably have that either on the agenda next week or the week after. Or Brad, do you want to comment or any, and also on the other portion that she mentioned?
Yeah, I think you answered the question. If our numbers stay where they're at, they have been very good the last couple of weeks. I think if they stay where they're at, I would certainly recommend doing something at the next meeting or two, and coming out of that. As far as the health department orders, I do know that we have been laxed on that, and it's simply because we have just don't have the staff to keep it up with all the vaccines we're doing. So the vaccination clinics have taken priority, and so we've got all hands on deck trying to keep up with that. So I can't answer the question when we might update the other side. So
You might mention, Lynn, the number of vaccinations that John gave at our report today, 500 for Brad.
they're doing, yeah, we've got 500 to do this week. We got another 100 of the Johnson & Johnson that we provided to Auburn Pharmacy. So we've actually got 600 that are being done in the county this week, 500 of which we're doing at our vaccine clinic up here. So trying to run 500 people through in a day or two. Plus, they're also giving Chapman School District starts their second round of shots today. 500 is just the initial shots for people. We've also got several hundred of the second rounds of shots we're doing for the school districts and some other people that got their initial shot a month ago. So I don't know what the total is they're doing, but it's bigger than a breadbasket that they're trying to keep up with, starting on Tuesday through Friday of each week. So when I say all hands on deck, I mean, we're going into the evenings now, giving vaccinations for people that are working during the daytime. So we've got staff working, during the day and evening, trying to keep up with us. And we figure it's more important to get the vaccinations in the arms of people that are interested in getting it at this point than doing other things. So.
Okay. Thank you. I think Sherry had typed in that she was unable to call in today, and I had received an email. I looked for it and I don't find that, but she had sent an email to me a few days ago encouraging the commission to go ahead and rescind the order, and so I'm kind of assuming that might have been in part something she's going to convey to us. So, okay, I don't believe we have any others that have requested to make comments. So the next item on the agenda will be to go to the reports of the county officers. Brad?
Okay, we've talked in the work session about the renovation and the construction projects. Again, a lot of moving parts there. The renovation is progressing well. The upper floor is very noisy. A lot of construction going on. The demolition portion, which is a big part of the project on the upper floor, will be completed tomorrow. They'll be moving into the basement, and what that demolition portion consists of is going in and taking out all the walls, so they're no longer going to be wanted in the new addition. And there's a number of them. Taking out all the ceilings, the original ceilings up to the decking of the roof, so that everything can be exposed. Taking out all the old plumbing, taking out all the old heating and air conditioning, plumbing, water, sewer lines, and all that stuff. So that's all been removed and has gone out the windows. And the next crew will come in, different company, different crew will come in and and start the framing and putting up the stud walls in the locations that'll get the new design. The framing has actually started. It started last week at the west end, down in what used to be district court, that will be the county attorney's office now. And so they'll start moving through the upper floor while the demo people move down to the basement now that it's going to be clear and they can start down there. So just a lot of moving parts. There's pieces coming in the door. I know a lot of HVAC vent or duct work is sitting in the hallway now. So we're seeing a bunch of that stuff that will go into the ceiling and be installed before anything else happens. So a lot of coordination, a lot of effort. So that's going well. The addition is going well. The bathrooms are just about complete. We're waiting for the masons to get done with the door going into the jail and those extra 2 walls, which should be any minute now. They thought they'd be done by midday today, so that they no longer have to bring mud and block and stuff through that south entrance to get to the project. Once they're done, the tile people are standing by to tile the entryway and get that all completed. And the door, the glazing people were supposed to be there today to finish the doors on the main doors into the entrance to the new doors into the courthouse. And that way we'll be able to secure it and things will be finished up in that area. As you heard during the work session, the dispatch, we moved it earlier this week up into the old garage. So we have a temporary setup in there for them while their stuff is being done in the basement. That went rather well. It started 9 o'clock Tuesday morning, and I think it was about 6:30 Tuesday night before we got everything up and running, and we're comfortable that it was functional. So Purple Wave this week, end of the auctions for the items that we have on there. The 2 big ticket items we had were the Mack dump truck that we sold. We actually got $30,500 for that, which I was very pleased with. And then the ambulance that we retired brought $11,000. And I think the most we'd ever gotten out of an ambulance in the past was about $7,000 to $8,000. So it did very well. So there were a lot of other items on there that were property of the old abandoned property stuff that the sheriff's department had accumulated over the last decade or two that they cleaned out the warehouse over there in the evidence room and were able to sell that. And my understanding, the proceeds from that all go back to the state treasury. So we did take bids yesterday for diesel. The low bid came in at $2.49 from MKC. So they were awarded the bid for that. Bridge replacements, we've had a good week there. Our crew finished up the 3,200 block of Jeep with a structure that they replaced there. And they moved down to the 1,400 block of Barn Road. So we'll be down there for 2 or 3 weeks replacing that structure as well. On the same note, the Fair Road Bridge, as you heard Martin say in the work session, is progressing well. The deck and the guardrail or the side arms are all on the railing, and now they're working on the approaches. So that tells us we're probably a couple weeks away, like we said, April 1st or so, from having that completed. They'll get the guardrail alongside the approaches, and once that's done, they'll be able to open that one up. The curing rate should be over by then. So. And then we talked about the health order, reviewing it next week and looking at that. And I think that's assuming things don't change and we continue on a good trajectory. Numbers have been very good. We're actually seeing CDC and KDHE come out with some new guidance as far as lessening the requirements of wearing masks in family gatherings and things. That's a good sign. I think from what we've learned over the last year that they're always going to be behind everybody else in on the side of caution. But yeah, I think we're getting real close to the point if things don't change, we'll be able to lift that mandate rather quickly. And I think we're all looking forward to that. So that's all I've got.
Okay, thank you. Doug?
No, I don't have anything. Thank you.
Okay. Move on to notices and communications. We have our valuation notices that we've received, just like everybody else with this county appraiser. And when I say we have received, it's properties that are identified that are owned by the county. And so we have a packet of those. We also have from Government Technology, their magazine, and the county news. And they talk about the county's that are having the vaccination sites and how that's progressing in other areas. We did have a few emails or letters that we received. Susan Steinauer, I believe that's how you pronounce her name, but sorry if I have that incorrect. But she had sent one that said other counties around us have repealed their mask mandates, and that's what she's encouraging us to do. We also had one from Heather Bohannon, and kind of the essence, it's time to allow people to choose whether or not they need to wear a mask. Please consider making this a priority sooner than later. And that's regarding rescinding the order. We also have one from Justin Panzer and thanking us and commending us for allowing the mass gathering limit to expire, and also the modified school quarantine that was adopted. And he mentions that was something he's had been fighting for or promoting since last fall. And then he also had a concern about statements on the mask mandates being on the same level as vaccination rates. And I think maybe that was maybe not the intent that it come across that way, but regardless, he just wanted to point that out. And then also urging us to open up Dixon County, which amounts to rescinding the order. We also had one from Angie Evans, and concerned that the mandate was extended here to April 1st. And so anyway, she kind of raised the issue that she felt like the goal line was being moved again. And, you know, we welcome comments. You know, I interpret it more that the goal line is still the same, but we're just, you know, we're closer to it, but we're not to the point that we're going to hold that mask order back yet. But as Brad mentioned, that is something that's probably going to come up. That's probably something that will be on the agenda either in the next few weeks. So, you know, hopefully numbers remain stable and do not spike up. And if that occurs, then that puts us in a position. I was looking for the one, and I had it here a minute ago, just because Sherry tried to call in but anyway, she had just sent an email previously to me, said in light that many states and counties are lifting their mask mandates. She's hoping Dixon County can be part of that. And that you guys have withstood, referring to the commission, the most difficult times in Abilene history to be commissioners. There's never a vote that pleases everybody. Thank you for staying the course. I respect that, but please consider voting to remove the mandate tomorrow. So she had sent that yesterday, I guess. And that's all I have. Are there any other communications that anyone would want to bring up or anything that you see? Okay, we'll move on. There are no resolutions. We do not have any unfinished business. Under other business, we do have to consider the approval of the Sparks funds for two entities, the Tavern Boutique and Tanning and the Kansas Coffee and Ice Cream. And that was something that there was, we still had some Sparks money available, but there were necessary forms to fill out. And Brad, do you want to give just a few more specifics on those two entities and what we're looking at there?
Yeah, you kind of summarized it, Lynn. They had made application originally with the other businesses. However, we didn't have all the paperwork that was required from them. They've since submitted that paperwork. Kansas Coffee and Ice Cream is being awarded $7,000 for lost revenue that they had during the COVID issue. And then the Tavern Boutique and Tanning is being awarded $3,000 for their lost revenue and expenses. So.
Okay. And so what we need is a motion to approve, and the paperwork has been considered and looked at, and it's satisfactory as far as everything being filled out and application, they qualify for that. I think we can do it with one motion for both of those.
I'll make a motion to approve the money to be sent to the two entities.
I'll second it.
We have the motion, we have the second that we go ahead and approve the Sparks funds for those two entities, Tavern Boutique and Tanning, Kansas Coffee and Ice Cream. Where are those located at, Brad?
Chapman, they're both Chapman, yeah.
I have a good question. How much money is there left in that Sparks money? You know, Brad, offhand?
According to what the ledger shows here, the available balance that we have is about $20,000.
Those are the only two that left that were on the original ones. That didn't-
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, now I did get an email a little bit ago that I haven't been able to look at very well on my phone, but I think we have one more application that's come in from an insurance agency, so.
When's the deadline for that too then?
Well, I think it was the end of March, just like everything else.
Okay.
I believe they fall under the same guidelines as the other
March
Sparks.
30th.
Yes.
Okay.
It was originally December 30th and then they extended it, so we're getting right down to the wire.
So we did have the motion and the second. We still need to vote on that. So any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. That's all we have for today. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
I'll second it.
We have the motion and the second to adjourn. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We're adjourned. There's some signatures.